I'm doing a little bit of leveling just before the boss, because I wanted to get Melchizedek one more level. Not just because of God's Hand, even though God's Hand is amazing. Okay, what do I get rid of? Because Vicious Strike is still pretty good. These are good. Well, I mean, technically speaking, I don't need this anymore, but that's good to pass down. Invigorate 1 is nice too. That's great. Huh. Yeah, I guess I don't need Vicious Strike if I have Akasha Arts. Don't really need this, considering that I also have Dice Soldier, so I might as well get rid of that, actually. Yes, let's do this. This is the main reason I wanted to do this, because this is going to, hopefully... Radiant Halo, yeah, that's going to eliminate Koromaru's weakness, which actually won't help for the boss fight, but I wanted that anyway. The real reason why I'm leveling a bit is I want Norn to go up one level. I'm going to be using Norn for the majority of this next boss fight, and
There are 2 of them. Attack!
because of that, I want Norn to learn Regenerate 3, which Norn gets in one more level, so might as well train until Norn learns that. Okay, I really hope this is Norn. No, it was Sir. And Norn. Okay, good. It was Norn. So there's Regenerate 3. I'd also like Invigorate 3, but that's a lot of experience before I get that. So with that, I'll be trying to leave here, and I'll see you when I get to the boss, because I'll just say this now, you want as much SP as possible for the boss. This boss is entirely immune to everything physical, so SP is your only way of damaging it. Do not go to this boss with anything less than full SP. You will regret it. Okay, actually, I'll keep recording this because I forgot to show this during my first run of this area. The green sigil can summon a new enemy. This is the Phantom Mage. Anyone playing Persona Q will probably have traumatic flashbacks when seeing this thing. It's pretty decently leveled, and we're probably not going to get a chance to scan it because it's going to die. But anyway, this is the Phantom Mage. Seeing as we won't get a chance to scan it, and we'll probably not see another one because they only appear when summoned, I'll be flashing its stats up on screen during that part of the video.
Yes, my skill level has increased.
Okay, Yukari is now level 60. I'd like Ken to be 60 as well because he learns Dia Rahan then. How close are you to 60? You are 60 already. Nice. Okay, good. Let's get out of here, and I'll see you back at the boss. Okay, here we are at the boss floor, and I've got a party of Yukari, Ken, and Koromaru for this, which might feel kind of weird, but let me discuss how this boss is going to work. Like I said, this boss is immune to everything physical, so you will need magical attacks to damage it. Also, this boss's main gimmick relies on hitting your weaknesses and then using one mores to hit you with Vile Assault for massive damage. So, what you want to do with this fight is to bring personas and party members with no weaknesses. Normally, Yukari would be a very bad idea, but because I have the Lightning Gloves, Thor's Heart item, Yukari is not weak to anything, so she'll be my main healer, and there are really no downsides to using her in this fight because of that. But if you don't have Thor's Heart item, do not bring Yukari here. Koromaru also, even though he is weak to light, this boss never uses light. It does use dark sometimes though, so Ken is a little bit of a risk to bring. And you might notice I'm not using the Radiant Halo here, because like I said, this boss doesn't even have any light attacks, so there's no point. So I've got a Pierce Repeller on him because of Vile Assault. Now Ken, like I said, Ken could get hit with Dark in this fight, but other than that, he doesn't have any weaknesses. Now, you may be wondering why I'm not bringing Metis. Many guides of this fight suggest Metis because she has no weaknesses. The reason I'm not bringing her is, this boss absorbs everything physical, so Metis won't be able to do very much damage, and thus she'll have her effectiveness reduced for the majority of the fight. Ken, however, being a hybrid physical magical attacker, will actually see some use throughout the whole thing, so that's why I'm bringing him. Now, I'm going to go into this fight with Melchizedek for the Auto Mataru. And because Melchizedek has Repel Dark, I don't need to worry about any weaknesses on him. So Melchizedek has no weaknesses. Daisojo also has no weaknesses, but Daisojo won't be able to do much to the boss in return. In fact, Daisojo won't be able to do anything because my regular physical attacks won't work and neither will Light. And because of this, Norn is the main persona that I'm going to be using for the fight because Norn is my biggest source of damage. This boss does not resist anything elemental, so strong elemental attacks are your best bet here. Now, you might be wondering, isn't Norn weak to electricity? Well, I have kept Aigus's resist elect medium armor. It does mean lower defense, but having no weaknesses on Norn, a persona this powerful, that's going to be worth it to me. Oh, and also, Aigus for accessories, she has a Vitality Ring, which is increasing her HP by 30%. That's just going to make Regenerate 3 all the more effective. So it's time to face off against... That thing looks pretty cool.
It seems like the shadow is our only enemy again.
Not for long, it does summon help.
Incoming!
The Maya enemies were always slime-like, but this one seems to have almost a traditional RPG slime look going on in some ways. There's a lot of cool-looking enemies in the answer. I kind of wish they'd been this creative for the journey. But anyway, the conceited Maya, Emperor Sarkana, obviously.
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
I'll talk more about when the scan goes through, but it absorbs everything physical. And as for tactics, let's see. I feel like having everyone on Act Freely is the best. I have 2 healers, so I don't need to feel too concerned about who's on healing duty. Because if somebody gets hurt, the other one will be healing them, and that leaves the other healer to use their offensive skills. None of these do anything, sadly. I really want to show God's Hand, but nope. So I'm going to switch over to Norn. You do want to be a bit careful with your SP here, because, like I said, SP is the only way you can damage this boss. And that missed entirely. Dang it. Now, despite the conceited Maya having a huge variety of elements, it's not very powerful. All of its elements are they only go up to the last skills, and its actual offensive stats are pretty low too. So, it doesn't feel like that big of a threat, but that will change. This boss is, in some ways, it's like a haughty queen who's very powerless herself, but has powerful friends that she'll call to assist her if she's ever threatened. We'll be seeing those powerful friends eventually. But the one thing to note is, those powerful friends use the same tactic as this main boss. So if you can handle its strategy of hitting weaknesses and getting 1-mores, you can handle its lackeys. And yeah, that's very powerful. Okay, you're already summoning. It summons Jotuns of Blood. Jotuns of Blood do the exact same thing the conceited Maya does, namely, use elemental skills in a bid to hit your weaknesses. The difference is, they're much, much more of a threat. They have an enormous... Oromaru, you idiot. They have an enormous magic stats, not very good defensive stats, but their magic is insane, and they have all of the Dine and Mardine spells. They also have Muda on, so yeah, that's why Ken's in a bit of danger here.
Give me a sec. I'll scan the target.
They're also the inverse of the conceited Maya in terms of elemental affinities. Instead of absorbing everything physical and being vulnerable to, not weak, but vulnerable to everything magical, they are vulnerable, not weak, just they can actually be hurt by physical attacks, but are immune to all magic. And that's why I wanted to bring Ken. He's a hybrid physical and magical attacker, and why I didn't bring Metis, because what you want here is, you want to get rid of the conceited Maya early so that it's safe to use multi-targeting physical skills. But until you do, it's not safe in the slightest. Do not even try and go for multi-targeting physical skills until that conceited Maya is gone. You don't want it recovering health, because it'll just keep summoning Jotuns of Blood, and you don't want multiple Jotuns of Blood. They're pretty scary. As you can see here, that magic is crazy, and they have some really powerful skills. I guess yep, another Jotun of blood. Thankfully, the conceited Maya shouldn't last too much longer. Thankfully, everyone knows to target in. In fact, I should probably put them all on assigned target on the conceited Maya, even though they seem to be doing a pretty good job of it on their own. But I guess the AI is programmed to always target the enemy that's weakest in terms of HP. I think another good round of combat should finish off the conceited Maya. Okay, we're all going to be losing our Tarakaja this turn. And we're going to get bombarded by those Jotuns of blood before we get a chance to do anything. But I think we should be fine.
I need your help.
Just going for the Magarodine here. Come on, conceited Maya. Good. Okay, that's dead. Now I can... Oh, yeah, by the way, they can also use Mind Charge, so these things are very, very terrifying.
Kenkun's in trouble.
They do a lot of damage, they can Mind Charge, and yeah, that's really all that needs to be said. But I'm going to be switching over to Melchizedek now, and just going for all-out physical spam. The problem with that, though, is physical attacks are going to cost us HP, and we want as much HP as we can get here, because, yeah, these things hit very hard and can Mind Charge. You know what? I've got an idea. I do want to heal, but... In fact, now I'm going to put Yukari on heal.
Leave it to me.
Because she can't really do much offensively because these things are immune to elements. So she'll be on healing duty. Ken can still attack decently well, so I'll leave him on act freely. And I'm going to go over to Melchizedek, who I'm pretty sure also has Medea Rahan. Yeah, okay, Melchizedek's going to be perfect with this fight. Healing, physical attacks, and I think, well, we have high counter, but it doesn't do anything. So back to my idea. I got a few more magic mirrors, and these things are immune to all elements, but at the very least, this will mean that their Mind Charge attack won't hit us. So I'll be using this as less of a mirror and more of just a full party wall. Actually, two of our party members are, still protected. Actually, Yukari can do decent damage to them. I just had an idea. You know, if you keep windbreaking them, I can use Norn against them. Huh. I was just talking about how, people tend to not like Yukari, and you seem to be redeeming yourself here for that reason. I didn't think Windbreak would be useful with that. The problem is you can't track which one of them has had Windbreak cast on them. I think it was the 2 Jotun? Of course, it doesn't matter if I'm using Magarodine, but still. You know what? I actually feel like it's safer to go back to Norn and go for the Garodine, because I don't want to lower my HP too much with physical attacks.
I need your help.
Yeah, elemental break skills are actually kind of coming in handy here. And there's Mind Charge again. Okay, yeah, 2 of us are immune to that, but the other 2 are going to get hit. And I probably need to... Well, you're using Medea armor. That's fine. That's going to top us off a little bit. It's going to put us at almost full. That should be good enough to ensure that everyone else doesn't just spam healing rather than attacking. Because these things are very powerful. We want to get rid of them as soon as possible. Okay. It must have been the 2-1 that got hit by Windbreak, because it seemed to have full HP before and now it doesn't. Because the camera swings around here, I'm not entirely sure. Okay, so let's see. Yep, it's definitely the 2-1 that got hit with Windbreak. Oh, yeah, see, their Mind Charge attacks hit very, very hard, and that's why you want to make sure that your protagonist's health is very, very high or full at all times. Because that's going to one-shot them if their health is anything below the 350 range. And I'm just going to keep doing this. I'm going to make the most of Windbreak, because it does wear off eventually. Actually, Yukari was the perfect party member to bring here. So glad that I kept that Resistor-Lek armor. He went from being in trouble to being unconscious, but thankfully Yukari gets her turn before him and revives, so Ken can now take an action this turn. No, he can't. Whoops. Okay, it looks like Windbreak is still up on you. Although... Going back to Melchizedek, and I think I'm going to go for... Because that Jotun is going to... yeah. It's a bit of a toss-up, because if I attack it now, it'll probably die, and that means I only have to deal with one attack this turn, so he probably won't die, but I still want to heal just to be sure. Melchizedek away! Yeah, I thought so, but you're getting to the point where physical attacks will finish you off anyway, so... You're like, ooh, you guys use wind. You wind powerful. We use wind too. Huh, only one left and it's been wind broken. That's gonna be fun. I feel kind of dumb for not considering Yukari's wind break, but it usually isn't that helpful. But here it's amazing because I have such a strong wind persona. But I guess sometimes, you know, you make a plan and then an even better plan suddenly comes to you in the middle of the battle. It can be satisfying when that happens. This is probably the best use of a party member's elemental break skills I've ever seen.
Hang in there.
Okay, that's good. I mean, I'm half tempted to finish it off with God's Hand because I love that skill, but I should probably, you know, I might as well do this because make use of that windbreak. Goodbye, Jotun of Blood. That fight went so much more smoothly than I expected to. I am so surprised. And that item name is pretty funny because in British or Australian English, it's like you're really angry at a horse rather than a horse covered in blood. And level ups all rounds. That skill's useless to Alice herself, but it's good for fusion fodder. So yeah, I'm actually a little shocked that I won that on my first try. Because that is often considered the hardest boss fight in the answer. So, like, I looked up, like, if you Google Conceited Maya, the first results you get are people asking for advice on game FAQs about it. So, yeah, I'm really shocked that I won that on my first try. But, I mean, I like the way the Conceited Maya looks. Like I said, I wish they were more creative with the enemy designs during the journey, because there are some really cool-looking ones in the answer. Like the Lost Giants and those things, and the Desert of Doors is almost full. This is the only area we haven't explored yet. Everywhere else has its full complement of doors behind it. So I'm going to go back and save, and because that boss fight was fairly short, at least by boss fight standards, I'm going to go back in and go to the end of this area, and oh boy, Yukari's flashback. I'm not really looking forward to this one. Okay, let's move on. We do have a bit of ground to cover because most of these areas end around the, like, 25 mark. They're not all 25 floors. I know the final one has 27. And we're back in Purple Land. And the enemies here are just a random assortment of enemies from the earlier floors, so don't really feel the need to try fighting many of them. Unless they do that. Okay, that thing did an Akasha Arts, but you're still aggroed, I'll have to deal with you. Oh no, it's you.
There's one enemy.
I am getting out of here. Oh, yeah, that was a failure. The animation was a little faster than usual, so... That was not a failure, thankfully. It's not that those things are threatening. I mean, they are, but not that much. It's more... I don't find them worth fighting. Demon's Mail, that's kind of cool. Let's see who can use... It feels a little ironic giving this to Ken. Because he is another party member that people tend to... Oh, that's awesome. 120 defense. Except it has no secondary effects. So I'm going to keep what he has currently for the moment. Got a persona there, even though there's not that much I can fuse at this point that doesn't require getting rid of any of my really, really good personas for. There are the stairs. I've got a few floors to go through, but since I'll be mostly skipping enemies, shouldn't take that long. Let's see. And I've already gone through... Yep, dead end. I've already gone through most of my Yukari rant, so I've kind of exhausted stuff to talk about at this point. I'm still in shock that I had such an easy time against that boss. I fully expected to get destroyed there. It's always a thing, like, when you're... Like, I mean, this is just something that, I don't know, just to give the perspective of YouTubers who record games. It's an issue that I have I thought that someone had just got caught in a fight there. An issue I have sometimes is, if there is something that in a game that I've heard is considered very, very difficult, you feel kind of bad if you do it and in your recording it goes really, really smoothly, because you think, oh, that might give people the wrong idea that this is actually easy when it's not. So, I really hope that, like, every time that happens, I just keep feeling, I hope people still get the sense from watching that this is a difficult fight that you need to prepare for. Because I was fairly prepared for that fight. I knew that you should bring people with no weaknesses. Oh, that's not good. Well, at least we get to see the cool enemies again. But yeah, I was really prepared for that. I knew what the boss could do, and if you bring people who have weaknesses, like, see, none of those enemies ever got a one more off.
Here, 3 enemies left. Please be careful.
You are immune to Norm, that's unfortunate.
It's
And Strike doesn't work, so yeah, I can go for Cert here.
I need your help.
Didn't mean to use Ragnarok there, but I guess I can show it. It's pretty strong. It does cost a heck of a lot of SP, but it's kind of worth it.
Oh, crap.
Especially if you have boost and amp skills with it. And in this game, I know I've already mentioned this during the journey, but this is not the journey. In this game, signature persona skills can be passed down through fusion, so you can get things that aren't cert with Ragnarok, so you can pass that down to personas with no weaknesses, and then that gets fun. But not quite as fun as Thunder Rain. Thunder Rain is amazing. Probably a little too amazing. And then Persona 5 made, okay, a Pierce attack could actually make use of that shock. But Persona 5 basically made multi-targeting versions of these severe elemental skills, but I find they don't tend to get used all that often, because by the time you get personas that can learn those variants, it's pretty much the very end of the game anyway. When I first played Persona 5, I tried to not be under-leveled for the... Well, I tried to not be over-leveled for the final boss, so I restricted myself to personas that were just around the mid-70s. I could have gone higher, but I thought, you know, let's just actually give the final boss a chance to be challenging. Because that actually relates back to the whole thing about feeling a little insecure whenever I do a fight that's considered hard and make it look easy. Because, Nyx, the final boss during the journey, so many people have trouble with that fight. And, again, so many people have trouble with that fight. It's considered one of the hardest final bosses of all time. And I was so over-leveled due to 100% in the compendium that I made it look like a complete joke. And I did feel a little bad about that, but there was really nothing I could do, because when you go for compendium completion, you end up power leveling to the point where even the final boss is kind of a joke. I thought we failed that time. And in fact, I wasn't even intending to go for compendium completion when I started that playthrough. It just ended up being a natural side effect of what I was doing. Because I wanted to at least show Messiah and Orpheus Telos. Well, mainly Orpheus Telos, because I was doing a max social links run, and Orpheus Telos is your reward for maxing all the social links, so if I didn't show it, that would just be an insult to the fact I was doing a max social links run. And Orpheus Telos requires you to be level 90. And again, Messiah is like the main ultimate persona of the game, so obviously I would need to show Messiah. and thus I needed to grind to level 90 before the final boss, and that made it really easy. Then it was admittedly also all the abandoned card items that I had too.
Cancun's in trouble!
Nice absorb there.
Help Cancun! He's not doing so well!
I will do that after this fight. The only reason I'm running here is because this party is a little over... Well, not Koromaru, but everyone else is a little over-leveled compared to the rest of the characters, and I don't want to widen the level gap any more than it already is. Yeah, see, Yukari and Ken are level 61, while the rest are level 58. I don't know if that's something that a lot of people can really... It's sort of a YouTuber thing. I don't know how much other YouTubers get that feeling, but I always feel insecure whenever I get through something that's supposed to be hard easily. And I just have to be like, okay, take my word for it, that is hard. But, yeah, it didn't look that way in the video. I don't know, it's interesting. I've watched a lot of interviews with some YouTubers lately, and it's just kind of interesting to see how all of them treat the whole recording process and just how different a lot of their methods are, but none of them were ever asked a question like that. Because I'd kind of like to get their input on issues like that, because it does bother me sometimes when I have what is supposed to be a hard fight that I end up making look easy. So anyway, we should be almost done with this place. Almost. And then it's Yukari's flashback. Oh joy. Yeah, might as well try for that.
A surprise attack!
I thought you would do that! I thought you would do that. It feels like the stronger gold shadows are more likely to escape, because I hardly ever see the lower level ones run, but these ones almost always do. Speaking of things I hardly ever see, I believe this is the first time this has happened to me in the answer. Even in all my grinding, none of... No, not Desert Doors. I thought that was the stairs for a second. Even in all of my grinding, I've never had that happen. And I did a lot of grinding. Does that mean you found an item or you leveled up? It's always hard to tell with Koromaru because of his whole says nothing because he's a dog dialogue. Ken! Oh, wait. I forgot that, like, I thought they were already on priority defeat shadows and I needed to turn them off it, but no, that button means set them on priority defeat shadows.
There are 3 enemies.
I did say regroup, right? Yeah, I'm sure we're on regroup, so... Where the heck is Yukari? There she is. Okay, good. We regrouped before that thing could get her, but now we need to find Koromaru. Oh, hey, he actually beat the thing he was fighting. That's cool. But where is he? Come on, Koromaru. I can't go through the stairs without you, because if I do, it'll count as you being left behind, and you will potentially miss out on any experience like that. Where are you, Koromaru? Okay, he's not in here. Is he up here? I mean, if he was, he'd be trying to come down that corridor to us. No, there he is. Here, Koromaru, good boy, there you are. Okay, he did find an item. Huh. Okay, I'll be sure to give that to Metis later. Oh wait, no, that's the way to the stairs. Ha! Koromaru, you've done enough fighting on your own. Okay, now we can get moving. I still can't believe that out of all the time I've spent playing the answer, including grinding, that was the first time I ever had a split up floor. I don't know what the exact chances of getting a split up floor are, but they're probably quite low if in all my time I never had one. And now it's flashback time.
Attention, all students in the dormitory. The cafeteria will be closing in 30 minutes.
Oh, crap. Forget it.
Oh, there you are, Yukari. We went to your room to look for you.
Oh, sorry. I don't think I can make it today. It'll be crowded anyway.
Hey, is that your stuff? Have you even been to your room since we got back?
Huh? Oh, yeah, you're right.
I don't believe this. You mean you've been spaced out for hours? Are you sure you're feeling okay?
Oh, no, it's nothing, really. It's just... how should I put it? It's hard to believe it's already been 4 years since I got here.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. It sucks that we have to be cooped up in this dorm for 3 years. We should be out and having fun. This year's almost over, too. At this rate, high school will be over in a flash. Well, let's not set our sights too high. We've just got to get through this.
Things went by so fast. I knew I wouldn't find out anything about Dad just by going to class. I mean, not even the police or the media have found anything new. It's already been 10 years. Wonder if I should just give up.
Ah, Takeba-san. You are Takeba-san, the freshman, right?
Oh, yeah, that's me.
Okay, that means she's in first year of senior high at this point. So this should be shortly before the main story begins.
I'm glad you're here. There's a letter for you. I'm very sorry about this. It actually came in yesterday. But there were so many transfer stamps that I couldn't tell who it was for.
What?
It's from an Eiichiro Takeba. Is he a relative?
Well, that must have taken a long time to get here.
But that can't be. Commemorating the opening of the Moonlight Bridge 10 years ago?
Takeba-san, wait! I need your signature here. And you forgot your things. These are your things, aren't they? Takeba-san?
Considering one of the forgotten things is a bow, she probably shouldn't leave that lying around.
You were all alone, trying to fight the Kirijo group's deception by yourself for so long.
Guess that's why she even enrolled in that school. She knew the Kirijo group had a hand in it, and she thought that by being in a school run by them, she could uncover their secrets, I guess.
It's not like that.
If we're being forced to look into our pasts, it would have been nice if you could have seen your father.
In some ways, this almost feels like Mitsuru expressing disappointment that flashback didn't really tell us anything new, which is how I'm feeling right now.
I would have liked to meet him.
It's not that big a deal. Now's not the time to go over the past. I'm tired of dealing with shadows. We should hurry and finish this.
I guess it is supposed to be that all of the battle has taken its toll on her too, but still, it does feel a little bit contradictory to how she is at the end of the journey.
Yukari, aren't you pushing yourself a little too hard?
So much that you're turning into an out-of-character jerk?
You know how Aigis has His power?
Ah, here it comes. Okay, yeah, this is one of the big reasons that I couldn't mention before as to why people hate Yukari and the answer.
She might not realize it, but that's gotta mean she inherited something from him.
Like from when he touched that core thing, I guess.
I'm anxious to get my own sign that I'm actually moving forward. I made a promise with him too.
And again, why I think the protagonist romancing everyone is canon.
Yukari.
Now that I've seen my past event, I know for sure. The idea we had about there being something in common between all the memories we've seen.
So that means, on that day we saw, did you...
Kenkun's story, Akihiko Senpai's story, Junpei's and Koromaru's too. Mitsuru Senpai's is the one that makes it the most obvious.
Yep, those are all the days they awakened to their personas.
Huh? I'm not following you here.
What we've seen is each of our reasons for awakening to our persona.
It fits. Fuka awakened in front of everyone, and Aigis and Metis could use it from the beginning.
Yep, I explained that before. The reason we don't see Fuga's flashback is because we already saw her backstory firsthand during the journey.
So there's no need to see their memories. That would make the most sense.
But even if that's so, why would we be seeing that here?
Like I said earlier, I think it's something about... Something feels like we need to be reminded of our reason to fight.
Is it telling us to step back and examine our origins?
Sort of.
Aiga-san, what do you think?
Well...
Yo, Aiga's sister. Don't act like this doesn't involve you. Let's hear what you think.
Why? I can't talk about the past with you all. I don't know anything about it.
But we don't know anything about your past either. Maybe it's time you shared that.
What's the matter?
Nothing. I meant just what I said. You said you wouldn't leave me behind.
Again, Menace, she has this issue about not wanting to be ignored or abandoned.
But I don't know anything about your past, so I'm always lost during these conversations.
Ah, I get it. You're lonely. See, you're a kid after all.
That is understandable. She is lonely, but not for that reason.
Now I get why you got all well-behaved when we said we'd leave you behind.
I'm not a kid.
You may not know anything about us, but we don't know anything about you either.
It's exactly what I was saying.
You must have special memories known only to you. Like the memory of when you discovered your emotions.
Let's do that thing they did on Critical Role recently and go Zone of Truth and then interrogate her. Force her backstory out.
Isn't it time you told us who you are?
Memories? But I don't...
Oh, it closed.
Sheesh.
Metis, I think you misunderstand. Not all of our pasts were glamorous.
That's putting it lightly.
To be honest, there were more painful memories than pleasant ones.
That's clearly not true. All the things you laugh and talk about are from your past.
Yeah, we've definitely had good times as well as bad.
She doesn't mince words, which forced us to another realization. I felt, for the very first time, that the reason time stopped may in fact have something to do with us.
And that might also be a metaphor. Like I said, I plan on talking about what I feel the answer represents later. But yes, time has stopped because it's something to do with them. Something to do with their attitude. We have one more door to go, and things will become clear once we get to the end of that. That's a bit of a stretch. Nope, only one more door left to go. So, for now, saving after getting through that boss and through that area, yeah, Yukari's flashback, it feels a lot like Ken's to me. They're both alright, but neither of them told us anything that we didn't already know. Mitsuru's and Junpei's were a lot more interesting because we actually got to see events that were only implied before and never directly mentioned. But anyway, that's all for now. Next time, we'll be starting the final area. Though it's not quite the absolute last part of the answer, but it's the final main dungeon. So, see you for that.